Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for crypto news and interviews. Guys, a big day for the crypto market. We got lots to discuss. Coinbase is selling junk bonds, raising funds that way, same way MicroStrategy did, and they applied for a futures trading license. Things are heating up here. We have Ray Dalio, who heads up the world's largest hedge fund. He is bullish on Bitcoin. He owns Bitcoin, and he said cash is trash. So I'll give you some details there. And remember the reporter we've been talking about who started covering the SEC, the Ripple XRP lawsuit, and what Gary Gensler is doing? Well, he started tweeting a lot, guys, sharing a lot of information. He went on TV today on Fox and talked about it. This is what we need. I think this is the spark that we need for more journalists to come in and start putting more pressure on the SEC. We also have Senator Pat Toomey going on TV and again putting pressure on Gary Gensler. Brian Brooks doing the same thing. So we're going to break it all down. Lots of bullish news. Before we get to it, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Guys, this video is brought to you by OKCoin Crypto Exchange, where you can buy, sell, and trade your favorite cryptocurrencies, and you don't have to pay high fees. OKCoin has low fees. You can also stake your crypto and keep 100% of the rewards. In fact, OKCoin is the only exchange in the world that lists Miami Coin, where you can stake it and earn up to 430% APY. That is amazing returns, right? So sign up, link in the description. All right, guys, heads up here on the market. Bitcoin did cross over $48,000 once again. Ethereum at near 3,600. Cardano at $2.48. XRP to $1.12. Solana still looking okay despite the whole network failure we had. But I want to show you the Bitcoin weekly chart. I see a green candle here after this major red candle that we saw, right? Which I've been telling you guys about. We were expecting that to build support levels. I still want to wait for this week to end to see how things wrap up because the price could go down tomorrow and we end the week with another red candle. But let's see what happens. Could this green candle be the bounce we're waiting for to go upwards? I'm not sure, but that's where we have to be cautiously optimistic and let things play out. Macro level, long-term view, we are going up. We are going to new all-time highs because we are still in a bull market. All right, guys, check this bullish news out. This is incredible right here. Demand for Coinbase junk bonds soars as exchange sells $2 billion in debt. The strong demand and increase in offering size highlights crypto's evolution from a fringe asset class to one under the spotlight of mainstream finance. Guys, if you understand how debt investing works and why people buy bonds and the fact that they're going to bond some crypto companies and companies involving crypto like MicroStrategy, right? This is massively bullish. It means they see a return, they see potential for growth that they can definitely be obviously paid back or earn their interest and so on and so forth. So US crypto exchange Coinbase has sold $2 billion worth of debt via junk bonds, up from an initial target of $1.5 billion due to strong market interest. The move highlights crypto evolution. The strong demand is clearly a big endorsement by debt investors. Julie Chariel, an analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence, told Bloomberg, a junk bond is a high yield, high risk financial security offered by a company and provides investors with a means of investing in debt. A company generally issues junk bonds as a way to raise capital quickly. The company said it plans to use the net proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes, which may include continued investments in its product development as well as potential investments in or acquisitions of other companies. Products or technologies that Coinbase may identify in the future. Equal amounts of 7 and 10-year bonds were sold at interest rates of 3.375% and 3.625%, respectively, and the offering is expected to close on September 17th. Guys, when I tell you this is massively bullish, there's a lot of capital, and people are trying to move away, as we can clearly see, from the traditional bonds and traditional financial markets. Now they're going to companies involved in crypto. We're gonna make a lot of money, guys. If I were to summarize it that way, we're gonna make a lot of money. Now, this market is highly volatile. This is not financial or investment advice, of course, but I see money on the horizon, ridiculous amounts of money if we're patient. I think patience is the key, because let's say you got scared and sold when the market crashed, earlier this year, or a couple of months ago, I should say, or 3 months. You would miss out on the next leg up, and you can clearly see what's happening in the next leg up right here. So this is why you got to have a macro level view, guys, but this is massively bullish news. Now, Coinbase also filed an application with the NFA to register as an FCM, Futures Commission Merchant. This is the next step to broaden, this is what they say, our offerings and offer futures and derivatives trading on our platforms. Wow, guys. And remember, game theory and Metcalfe's law, other exchanges are going to do the same. If they get approved, then you're going to see other exchanges go the same route and get approved as well. Very, very bullish. Now, I know some may say, well, futures are not great for the market because people are short. Well, they also long, but in general, I don't like shorts. But, this is going to bring more money into the market, guys. But this is why I have to stress patience and having a macro level view. But all of these things are going to drive more money into the market. Now, speaking of money, Ray Dalio says if Bitcoin is really successful, regulators will kill it. Now, that's the headline, but I always give you guys the full details and the context. The headline may get you scared, like, oh my God, the government's going to kill Bitcoin. Now, we know the media likes to sensationalize these things. Now, he said, are they likely to kill it? No. Here's what he had to say. He owns Bitcoin. Cash is trash. And he's bullish on crypto. But his point was that if Bitcoin becomes incredibly successful, maybe where it's overtaking the dollar or something like that, governments could potentially kill Bitcoin. Now, did he say that's an easy thing to do? Of course not. It's not easy to do. They would literally have to shut the internet down. Is it possible? Yes, anything is possible, right? So when you go to the extremes, yes, it can happen, but it's not very likely. So just a heads up there. So the other thing, once again, he said that cash is trash and he gets behind crypto. But once again, you're going to see this headline and people are going to, kind of just highlight this and not give you the context. So I just gave you the context. So it's great to see that he is bullish. At one point, he was a skeptic. You guys remember, and he didn't want to touch it. Now the man comes out and he says he owns it. You want to know why? His bags are packed now. This is the game, my friends. They will put a narrative out there to go on CNBC Fast Money, and you should never take financial advice or investment advice from CNBC. They will put a narrative out there based on how they're planning to take a position. If they want to drive the price down for their shorts and for them to accumulate, they will say negative things. If they're looking to pump the price, they will say positive things. This is how the game is played. So here's just a quick note. The founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, still believes Bitcoin makes a good alternative to cash. So he's all in, guys. Very bullish. And he was kind of the last domino of the hedge funds. Don't get me wrong there, of just the hedge funds. There's more folks to come in, but he was the whale of whales out of the hedge fund. So I love it. All right, guys. All right. Charles Gasparino. He is, of course, a senior correspondent, a journalist, reporter, and he's been talking about the SEC, Gary Gensler, and Ripple XRP. A lot of people have been communicating with him, even myself on Twitter, trying to point him in the right direction of what's going on here, because we know there's blatant conflicts of interest with Jay Clayton and William Hinman, corruption, and Gary Gensler is trying to cover that up because he wants to maintain the status quo, the establishment, the bankster, his bankster friends, the banking cartel, right? We've talked about that. Let me play a clip here of him going on Fox and talking about this. This is great, guys. And once again, I think this is a spark to get the other journalists to follow suit.
All right, the crypto craze is still on, but there are a lot of people trying to stall it or stop it. We've told you a lot about what the SEC wants to do, that this is the Wild West, doesn't really appreciate the Wild West nature of these sort of rogue investments here. Now a number of senators are also beginning to indicate they feel the same way. Charlie Gasparino has been way ahead of this story. Charlie, what's going on now?
You know, it's kind of a mess here, and you know, you just got to kind of take it piecemeal. At some point, you hope that there's something called the President's Working Group. It's the SEC, the CFTC, and the Treasury Department kind of put all their heads together and, you know, regulate crypto as one entity instead of all this piecemeal stuff. Because it's clearly, if you think crypto has a future, if you think the infrastructure of crypto, which is the blockchain technology, is something that can be used, and I'll tell you, a lot of smart people do, including Jamie Dimon. This is a technology that can facilitate transactions in a much more seamless way. It does use these tokens to do so. If you believe in all that, you know, this kind of piecemeal regulation and regulation by I guess enforcement action that the SEC has been doing is just not the way at it. Here's what we know, the latest of this, and it's some of the stuff that I've been picking up in the past, but it's starting to coalesce now with Gary Gensler, the new SEC chief, who's essentially looking not just at all this thing and looking to expand the regulation of it, but he's looking at ways to regulate it where it encompasses what the SEC can do and takes in a broad swath of the crypto market comes under his control. And one way I think is looking at doing it is through these crypto exchanges. You saw they brought a case against Coinbase recently. He wants to regulate the spot market on cryptocurrencies, and because he believes that just like the SEC has power, authority over spot markets in various securities, stocks, obviously over the counter, it has some authority here, and it can essentially use its authority here to force these crypto exchanges to register with the SEC, to go through the process of formalizing everything. And so there's government oversight. At least that's what he's saying. But I will tell you this, Neil, you know, the senators are reflecting what they're hearing from their constituents, including a lot of them in the crypto industry that are going to Senator Toomey, as he was turning the screws a little bit on Gary Gensler yesterday, and saying, listen, we don't know how to comply with the law. The law is all over the place. These cryptocurrencies have aspects of stuff in them that looks like a security maybe, but it's also very much a currency. It's hybrid. And there are no sort of firm rules of the road, and we need guidance. And if you believe in this industry, which a lot of people do, the SEC has to step up and essentially get together with other regulators and figure out some sort of framework. I never thought I would say this as a libertarian market person, Neil, but maybe there's a need for another agency to look at this. Maybe the President's Working Group of those three agencies should be put together to create a separate agency that monitors crypto. And, you know, Hester Pierce, the crypto mom, the SEC commissioner, who's out in front of this, made some good points to me in a recent interview. She was saying, listen, Charlie, because we have all this sort of piecemeal regulation, the innovation is moving overseas in blockchain. And not only that, we need, why don't we just call a timeout on this stuff and have a safe harbor where all these sort of cryptocurrencies, are not considered securities. They are considered currencies or something else. And this way we can sort through the problem, which is what we need to do is get the technology down and allow these sort of innovations to occur, because they're not occurring as fast as they should because of the sort of the loose. I mean, listen, this is gray area, right? I mean, I can make a case that Ethereum is a security because it was used to build out. Ether is a security because it was used to build, or Ethereum was created by securities, was used.
And Charlie, hasn't the train already left the station? I mean, it's kind of hard to put the genie back, in the bottle here, Well,
every day there's innovation, and here's I have said that. Look at it this way: you had Bitcoin, number one. You had which financed some blockchains. You had Ethereum, which was financed through other cryptocurrencies, and then you got Ripple. And they stopped Ripple. Yeah. Ripple was the third biggest with XRP was its currency. And now they basically stopped that. The SEC is suing over that. So, it is stifling some degree of regulation, whether it's good or bad. I kind of think it's bad, but they'll come out and say this is the Wild West. But it's interesting though, if you look at the point I was trying to make about Ethereum, when they created that blockchain, they used securities to create it. They sold stuff to create it. So it's technically a security, but now it trades like a commodity. So what is it? Should that be held to the same standard as Ripple? Yes, you would think. But then now they're saying Ripple is a little different because they're still financing it out and building it out. So whatever they use to finance it out is still a security. So this is the gray, weird area that we're dealing with. And it sounds like how many angels can dance on the head of a pin, but it's stifling a multi-gazillion-dollar industry.
Wow, guys. And this is the first reporter I've seen come out and talk about this situation like this. Once again, like I said, it could be the spark to bring other folks in the media on board, and they should have been doing it earlier. But a lot of the media, they kiss the ass of these establishment people on Wall Street and regulators because they want them to come on the show, right? They're not going to challenge Jay Clayton or Gary Gensler that much. But I'm glad this guy, who certainly has the cojones to go out and talk about it, right? Much respect to him. He started tweeting quite a few things here. He said the following: breaking, SEC enforcement versus Ripple could decide the future of the agency's ability to regulate cryptocurrency, and it might not end well. Consider what happened when the DOJ pushed the envelope on insider trading, resulting in a ruling making prosecution tougher. More at 3:45 p.m. on Fox Business. So I think the SEC here is going to lose this lawsuit and look very bad. And we need Ripple to win, obviously. Gensler is still trying to cover up the tracks of what they did, the conflicts of interest with Bitcoin and Ethereum investments with Jay Clayton and William Hinman. So he's clearly doesn't have a backbone. He just wants to keep the status quo. And like I said, he's working for the banking cartel. Here's what some other things he said here, Charles. SEC enforcement sources tell Fox Business the logic of the agency's case versus Ripple is that the company's infrastructure is still being built out. So XRP, the token which was used to finance the thing, is considered a security. Ethereum infrastructure is totally built out and has been for years. Thus, it's clearly a commodity. Hester Peirce argues that all may be the case, but as SEC splits hairs, crypto innovation is being stifled. So what's needed is a safe harbor that pulls back all this enforcement action developing. So a couple of things. That sounds like bullshit to me because Ethereum did an ICO, and under the respective law, if we're using that, it is a security. Now, I do believe something can start as a security and then over time evolve and not be a security because the network becomes decentralized. Now, here's the thing, though. Ethereum just moved from proof of work to proof of stake. So you could argue its respective network is not 100% complete, right? Do I believe Ripple's network is 100% complete? No, I think like many crypto projects, this is a work in progress. And that's where Hester Peirce keeps hammering home. We need the safe harbor. Let these people build their networks. And then at the end of it, we will determine, is it a security or not, right? So they have the ability to become decentralized because you can't use the Howey test on this. This is a completely different model here, right? This is not stocks. This is completely different. So the SEC, Gary Gensler, this is just ridiculous. I still think Congress needs to step in and they need to pass a bill that changes all this. Now, Charles, like he said in the interview, said, could they create a separate division, another branch of the government? Like you have the CFTC, the SEC, and maybe you have something called, I don't know, CEF or something, crypto enforcement or something. I don't know. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? Maybe that's a possibility because the SEC can get out of its own way. And here he also tweeted something crypto mom Hester Peirce recently told me, and it rings very true. Without consistent regulations on cryptocurrencies, the SEC will stifle innovation in the U.S. and innovation will move elsewhere, as it is doing. In my humble opinion, maybe that's the government's end game to kill the biz. I don't know if it's the end game to kill the biz, but look, who knows, right? Because look, at the end of the day, these big banksters, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they control the government. that is not conspiracy theory. Go look at the campaign donations. Go look at the revolving door, Hank Pulse, and all these guys who go from government to Wall Street to government. It's ridiculous, right? And you know, I don't know. I don't know if they want to kill it though. That's the only thing, because and maybe some do. Maybe the ones that are lining the pockets of Gary Gensler and the other regulators want to. But I do think when you have folks like Andreessen Horowitz and some of these big folks like Fidelity involved, maybe they can balance that out, and by campaign donations to the people who are pro crypto, or try to get people to be more pro crypto. Who knows, right? I at this point it's hard to tell, but I don't know if they necessarily want to kill the entire thing. Here, Senator Pat Toomey, shout out to him. He went on CNBC, and I'm not going to play the entire clip, but let me read what he said on Twitter. Chairman Gary Gensler and the SEC must lay out clear guidelines on what cryptocurrencies they view as securities. Regulation by enforcement is extremely objectionable, and will kill domestic innovation. Absolutely, and they're picking winners and losers. And like in my interview with Brian Quintens, we talked about this. He clearly said, I despise regulation by enforcement. So guys, I love that all these people are coming out, calling out Gary Gensler by his name. I think the gloves are coming off, and that's what we need to do. That's why I keep saying, make videos, tweet, send emails, whatever it is, right? And that's why we need to report on this and talk about it. Some of you may be like, oh, dude, we're tired of Gary Gensler and the SEC, but we got to put pressure, man. You know, Gary Gensler is getting paid with our tax money. He's supposed to represent us, but clearly he doesn't. Brian Brooks at the SALT conference, he also weighed in on this. He said, not everything in crypto needs to be regulated. So he's been pro crypto for a while, and he doubled down on his statements. And by the way, I'll be interviewing him soon, so make sure you got the notification bell enabled. All right, check this out. Bloomberg, Fidelity met with SEC last week and urged SEC to approve physically backed Bitcoin ETF. What did I just say, right? It takes the likes of Andreessen Horowitz and Fidelity, the folks who are trying to get involved in crypto, to push and to counterbalance maybe the JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs who are trying to stop crypto, right? And I know some of you are going to be like, dude, but JP Morgan, they're going to offer it to their wealthy clients. Yeah, because their hand is forced, because their clients are asking for it. But trust me when I tell you, they would not want to do that. They want to keep the power they have, money and power here, right? But they have to make sure they appease their clients, or their clients are going to up and go to some other bank. So I had an interview with Gabor Gurbax of Van Eck, and that interview is going to be live tomorrow. And we talk about the Bitcoin ETF. They're a leader in the space, of course. They were the first to file. And all these different big firms are trying to get their respective ETFs. And we talk about the SEC and this situation. So glad to see Fidelity is pushing the envelope here. Check this out, guys. Sign up adoption. Hong Kong central biggest landlord signs crypto firm as tenant. Hashkey will be the first crypto tenant for Hong Kong land. Lease comes as a demand from traditional finance companies drops. So we're seeing the rise of cryptocurrency companies around the globe, and obviously there are many of them popping up, and now they're getting the offices that the traditional financial world got, and many of them are paying their rent in crypto, and there's different things happening. So this is just a sign of the times and how things are growing, guys. And check this out. Speaking of Ethereum, I hold Ethereum in my portfolio, and this is a great sign because you have the supply going down and you have staking locking up a lot of Ethereum, which I think will be great for the price. I think a $10,000 plus price at the peak of the bull run will be what we will see. So more than $1 billion worth of Ether has been burned since Ethereum's London upgrade. So obviously going to Ethereum 2.0. So that is pretty cool, guys. It's about 297,000 ETH that have been burned. So if you hold Ethereum, that's great news for the price. Less supply, high demand, and a lot of it staked up, being held in staking, locked up. So the liquid Ethereum in the market's going to be lower, and once again, high demand. So I think we're going to see higher prices. All right, guys, what do you think about this news? I think it's all bullish news. Even the Gary Gensler situation, the people who are calling him out now, people from the government, journalists, they're going on TV. We got to put pressure. Keep tweeting at Gary, guys, and asking him, asking why is he not listening to XRP, the 30,000 XRP holders, and what is he doing? Like, he's stifling innovation. So tweet at him and ask him these questions. We got to keep accountability here. These people are supposed to represent us, right? We shouldn't be afraid of the government. The government should be afraid of us, right? And this is not a call to do something bad, but rather accountability. It's a call for accountability that these people, once again, they live off of our tax money, and they need to represent us, guys. All right, leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.